Hey guys, Msfili here. So the topic of today's video is thrifting easy or is thrifting hard? Well, to answer your question, it's not that simple. I can't say it's easy and I can't say it's hard. In terms of making it into a job, I feel like it's right down the middle because it's easy in a sense of you make your own hours, you work for yourself, you have the flexibility. But it's hard in terms of you actually have to hustle hard because you're not going to go into a thrift store finding something immediately. You kind of have to scour. You kind of have to have a repetition, consistency. You have to have the means of being able to go to one thrift store to another. You have to have the patience. You have to have the money, because if you don't have money to buy the thrifted things, then you ain't going to find anything. And you have to have knowledge in what you are picking up to resell. Because, for example, what do we have here? I'm trying to think. We don't have anything. Let's say this little bottle. You see this little bottle at the thrift store, pretend it's filled up and pretend it's brand new. So this is a YSL Mon Paris, I think, perfume. So this is a small one, right? So it's like a deluxe size sample. If this was $1.99, you could probably resell it for $5. And you might think to yourself, well, that's not really much profit. It isn't, but you are technically doubling your money. So you kind of have to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you are going to lose a lot of money. When I first started out thrifting, I was selling men's clothing, because when I first started to get into reselling, the videos that were popping up on YouTube were men who were reselling men's clothes, and that's what was working for them. So in my mind, I'm like, maybe I should resell men's clothes. And I did that, and it worked because it was the thing at the moment, but then it gradually lost its steam. And I actually had to donate maybe 8 garbage bags full of clothing back to the thrift store because it was just not moving. I mean, I could have lowered the price and all that, but I just didn't want to be bothered. And I wasn't really passionate about it. So I gradually kind of switched over to handbags, accessories. I like to resell what I like. And I think that helps in terms of loving what you do and being passionate about what you do. Because I don't want to sell used car parts. I don't want to sell toys. I mean, there's some toys that interest me, but as toys in generally all toys, I do not have interest in that. I have interest in probably 80s and 90s toys, but other than that, I don't really care about board games. I don't really care about puzzles. I don't really care about stuffed animals. You know what I mean? But I love purses. I love accessories. I sometimes love clothing. So I try to thrift and resell things that I like, and it helps profusely in terms of loving what you do. Like I said earlier, is thrifting hard or easy? I think if I had to pick one, I would say it's easier than a normal job. It really is. I mean, the fact that you have to be somewhere all the time, clock in, serve or help people, and then clock out. And I don't like having to be somewhere for 8 hours of my shift. I want to be like, okay, I'm going to work today. Well, 3 hours in, I feel tired. I just want to go home. I want that flexibility, and I love that flexibility. I feel like this day and age, because there's just so much more people, it is harder in that sense. So I feel like it's all about luck. It's all about timing. It's all about your consistency of going to the thrift store and going to multiple thrift stores. Like, case in point, on Monday, I visited all the thrift stores, Value Village and Salvation Army. I found nothing. So I spent 5-6 hours going to each thrift store only to be left with empty-handed. Now, if you're relying on finding something, then you're going to be disappointed, and say you wanted to sell something that week and you couldn't go any other day except for that day, then you won't have money for that week. And the funny thing is, I see a lot of thrifters in my city, and a lot of them have remained consistent. Well, actually, no. There's a group of people in my city that thrift and resell, and you see a group of full-time resellers that hustle. Then you see the ones that are hustling part-time but have a job. Then you see the ones who are hustle, don't have a job, but then they fall off because it doesn't work for them and they have to get a job. So in what I see is like 3 different levels of thrifting. I being making this my full-time job would be in, you know, category 1. I think it also helps a lot that I can also, that I'm double dipping, that I'm thrifting and reselling, but also making money off of it through social media and posts. So that really helps that I have that double income there. But I've also experienced a lot where reselling is down, social media is up, or social media is down, thrifting is up. It never real, sometimes it'll balance out, but a lot of the time it's not balanced. It's not equal. One is up, one is down. I think that's one thing that you have to really keep in mind, that thrifting and reselling is not, it's not sustainable in terms of what's the word I'm saying? It's not sustainable in terms of stability, and that goes along with social media as well. That it's not sustainable based on stability, or it's never going to be stable. So that's why a lot of people say that it's best to have multiple streams of income. So if one's down, one is keeping you afloat. Both are down, another one's keeping you afloat. 2 are up, 1 is down. You know, and right now I really only have, I guess two streams of income in terms of social media and reselling. But in terms of different categories, reselling, thrifting, I get paid on YouTube and I get paid on Facebook. So I guess that's really 3 streams of income. But to be honest, like, I love what I do. I wouldn't change it for the world. Sometimes I bitch and complain. Sometimes I'm tired AF. Sometimes it's repetitive. It's monotonous. But in the end, I love what I do, and I just get a lot of joy from it as well. Would I recommend someone do this? Yes, I feel like it is a great thing to get into. But right now, if you have a job, I wouldn't quit right away. I would dabble in it first. I would probably set a routine of, say you're working your job, go thrifting for like 1 or 2 days a week, whenever you're off, and then see if you find anything, and then sell that. You know, and if it works for you, do it again and progressively increase your thrifting and your reselling. I could not do this and have a full-time job or even a part-time job, because this is a full-time job on its own. And because I'm like thrifting all day trying to find things, and then when I'm not thrifting, I'm listing and selling, and then I'm editing videos and posting. So I don't, like, sometimes I give props to anybody who is thrifting, reselling, and has a part-time job, because honestly, I would not be able to do it. The only thing I would be able to do is have another passive stream of income where it's just there and it's just kind of making me money. Is thrifting hard or is thrifting easy? I believe it's easy. I believe it's easy as long as you educate yourself in what you're doing, as long as you test it out first to see if you like it, as long as you like doing it as well. Because I feel like a lot of people quit reselling when things get tough, and they will get tough. But if you kind of just find your niche and your groove in it, then it'll work itself out. Sometimes I worry that, what if I can't find things at the thrift store? What if the thrift stores have caught on and overpriced things, which is happening right now? That is very prevalent at the moment. Thrift stores overpricing things to the point where there is no more meat on the bone. There is no more room for profit. And it's just, you're just basically shit out of luck. It's happening right now. But even though that's happening, I still manage to find things, which is my key point. Is even though thrift stores, even though I've worried about that in the past, and even though it's currently happening right now, I still manage to pull it through, because there's just so many options out there in terms of thrift stores. There's just millions and millions of items running through their stores that they're not always going to catch or price things correctly based on what they think it should be priced at. But you do have to compete with other people and them finding it. So not only are you competing with them, the thrift stores pricing things high, but then if they price things low, you have to compete with the other resellers to find that item. And that's where the luck and the timing come in. I wouldn't change anything in the world. I love what I do. I feel like I've also inspired a lot of people to do what I do, and I love that for them. I love that I was able to do that. And that's really the point of this channel, is not bragging about what you find, not calling out thrift stores. It's literally, I started my thrifting channel just so that I can show the viewer, the watcher, you guys, that you can find amazing deals at the thrift store, that you can find inexpensive things, that you can make a living reselling, that you don't have to buy things retail. Because the bottom line is, we love to save money, and why pay more for something when you can get it for less? Like this was probably given to someone who spent $100 at Sephora or Ulta or at YSL, but you paid $2 for it at the thrift store, but you'd have to spend $100 to get this for free. And the thing is, you don't even have to thrift in your city. You can go outside your city. You can hit small towns. You can drive, a couple hours to different towns. There's just so much room and flexibility and chances to find something, not only just where you live, but somewhere else. And that's what I love about thrifting, that it's literally worldwide, and you're not just set in one place. I mean, you are if you don't have the means to get somewhere else, but in terms of the availability of it being there, I think that's cool. But yeah, I think thrifting, I feel like thrifting and reselling is easy in a general sense, and I'm glad I got into it. I'm glad I inspired other people to get into it. And if you're looking to get into it, like I said earlier, test it out first. Don't just jump the gun and quit your job and start doing it. Test it out and feel it out and get some experience and educate yourself. Watch videos on YouTube so that you get a feel and a sense of things. And if it's the way you decide to go, then all I can do is wish you an amazing journey and being prosperous. Can you make a living thrifting and reselling? I think you can, because that's what I'm doing. That's what other people are doing. And I think one of the tips that I would give you if you're a reseller and thrifting is that you should try and broaden your sales platform. Don't just stick to locally. Don't just stick to eBay. You should try eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Kijiji, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups. Open a social media channel, like have your own Instagram page. A lot of that helps in terms of reselling. I'm very lucky because I do have an audience, and a lot of my audience buys from me. So in that sense, that really helps me. So thank you to all my customers. I really appreciate you. But yeah, you need to open up your horizons to different selling platforms in order to be successful. You could even open your own website, print out like little cards and hand it out to people. There's so many things to do in order to be successful. Sometimes it's hard to do, and sometimes you don't have the money to do that. I think in this sense, it takes money. It takes money to earn money. It's especially with thrift. I mean, if you're a dumpster diver, you can dumpster dive things for free, and everything is profit. But yeah, I just wanted to do this video on whether or not thrifting is easy or thrifting is hard. And I hope I answered that question. I know I'm a little all over the place, but I'm trying to get more into like specific topics per video, because I feel like my videos are just like all over the place in terms of vlogging and buying and reselling and thrifting, that I really want to have like specific topics that we can talk about and people can be informed about. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.